Good word.
Use guys.
Use guys. Tonight's episode, we got a few awesome topics. Obviously, Pokemon Go. If you haven't heard about it, A, where the fuck have you been living? And B, where the fuck have you been living? It's pretty much everywhere. Whether you're an old person griping about how people are outside, or if you're a young person saying, why the fuck are you griping? You were just griping about how we were not outside, but now we're outside and you have a problem with it. We're also going to talk about Evolve going free-to-play and something called Evo. But that'll probably not include me. I'll probably go get a snack or something because I'm feeling kind of hungry. So let's go ahead and I guess kick it off with the thing we kind of usually start with. What have we watched recently? What have we been playing recently? Something like that. Snappy, to you. Well, I've been playing Pokemon Go all week because I've had the week off, and apparently it's sunny outside. I guess it turned into summer at some point, so that's what I've been doing. It's
Crazy.
Pokemon Go. A lot of Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go is pretty fun, but my GPS chip went out, so I can't level up anymore. I wish I could. And Snappy, hold on. Don't cut yourself so short. Didn't you just buy a brand new Android phone after being diehard Team Windows?
I am still diehard Team Windows. I want you to see that this phone is still here. It's not gone.
Ew.
What Android did you get?
I still don't. I got the Galaxy S7.
Good call.
The Galaxy S7. I'm over here with the S4 and the busted chip, and you're like S7.
Look at its shiny. Supposedly this is the golden finish. I don't know. It's not very golden. It's more gunmetal black. But
all right, Fred, what have you been doing?
I've been playing the crap fuck out of Rocket League.
Do go on. By the way, who got you to play that? Just out of curiosity, because I don't recall, but...
I mean, it's a number of people, but...
That's bullshit.
I mean, you were a big influence in that.
I feel like you're lying right now. Why are you lying?
No, I mean, I saw the game when I was at fucking Game Awards. Like, everybody's been raving about it. Not just you. It's a game you rave about, let's be fair.
Okay. Though. Yeah, it's pretty fucking fun.
Like... I'm still trying to figure out all the little quirks and tricks in the game, like flying with my jet boosters and like making sure I don't boost past the ball instead of hitting the ball.
Yes, physics are a bitch. They really are. What have I been playing, you might ask? Well, yes, what have you been playing? Well, I'll tell you. Me. Fuck you. I've been watching Lethal Weapon because I only seen bits and pieces of it when I was a kid. Bits and pieces. And so I'm going back to watch all of them now because they're on Netflix, which is fucking awesome. Thank you, Netflix. And then I've been playing Albion Online, ramping the guild up to get ready for a serious fucking push August 1st when it launches. And I am so excited. Fucking love that game. I'm glad that I'm really happy with a lot of the changes they made and some of the problems I had. Not only did they fix, some of them they actually removed from the game entirely, which makes me extremely happy in my pants. So yeah, there's that. Just let that sink in, that image.
I feel uncomfortable now.
Good. As uncomfortable as you were the other night with Fred and that one guy?
Hopefully comfortable.
Well, they gave me a few drinks at least before they stuck it to me. You just kind of stuck it to me.
It's not rape if you say surprise.
Yeah, that's not gonna hold up in court.
Probably not. But I'm just trying to piss off the feminists. I'm pissing off a group every episode. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So I guess just jump into Evo so we can get that out of the way because I have literally nothing to say about it because I know nothing about it and I despise fighting games.
I feel like I don't even know you right now. But anyway, Snap, let's go. Evo.
I'm going to kind of agree with Barney on this. I actually hate fighting games. I hate playing them. But they're probably the only games that I really enjoy to actually watch as far as competitive gaming.
I think it's the most exciting of the online gaming. I've never been excited by watching Call of Duty matches. I like watching the clips. Don't get me wrong. I like watching, like, I got a 5 kill in a row. Those are cool. The entire match, boring. League of Legends matches, boring.
Really?
Same.
Stone, boring.
Yeah.
I can't stand to sit and watch them.
Yeah, but fighting games...
How long it took me to be able to get to play that game. Like,
awesome to watch.
I don't like watching fighting games. I don't like watching Call of Duty I would never watch Hearthstone, even like the highlights, because I don't know what the fuck I'm seeing. But League, I don't like playing. I love watching League, like the NALCS and stuff. I can actually get into watching that stuff. That doesn't bother me.
Fair. I love Evo, but I've been playing fighting games since way, way back. Like, I'm an old school. I played Mortal Kombat before it was a console game. I played Mortal Kombat in the arcade. I played Street Fighter 2 in the arcade. I remember Marvel vs. Actually, let me even go back before then. I remember Street Fighter vs. X-Men. Like, that game was fantastic. And then it was Street Fighter versus Marvel versus Street Fighter. Then it was Marvel versus Capcom. So people want to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but really it's like the 6th or 7th game in the series, in the franchise. I've been playing since way the fuck back, and I love fighting games. So Evo is one of those events that I almost never catch live. I always go back and watch the highlights and watch like the good, really good matches on YouTube, like a week later.
Yeah.
But this year I have watched a few matches, and it's great. Like, I missed both Justin Wong matches, and I'm just like, mad. But that's those were both like the Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter 5 and what was the other one? Mortal Kombat 10 were the matches I watched. Snappy, you watched Smash Brothers. Tell us about that.
I watched a little bit of Smash Brothers 4, and that's about all I watched today. I'm a bigger Melee fan, but I like watching Smash 4 just mainly for the characters that aren't in the other ones. So I was mainly following it today to watch a guy who was playing as Pit a lot because I like Pit. And pretty much as soon as he was done and knocked out of the tournament, I quit watching, and he got pretty much roasted in his. He got into the top 16 or so. So he didn't do bad, but it was interesting. I think that actually ended today. I think it was one of the ones that ended today with Smash 4. Yeah. The other ones, I think, go on tomorrow also.
I gotta say, one of the reasons I like the fighting game like competition so much is there's so much strategy involved. It's almost to the level of like, I don't know, like if you look at Call of Duty competitively, it's kind of just like singular in your skill set. Like, you don't have to worry about who you're playing against so much. You don't have to worry about what their tactics are going to be as long as your tactics are good. In a fighting game, you could be one of the best in the world and still get beat simply because you do not anticipate what your enemy, what your opponent is going to do. Like, because the play styles will completely screw you up. And it's very, very dependent on you not only knowing what to pull off on your own, but knowing what your opponent's going to pull off. So you have to go back and watch. Barney, you're a big football fan, so you can relate to this. Imagine, like, when you play against different football teams, you got to go back and watch their games.
Yeah, their film.
See how they play, so you know what you need to practice for. Fighting games are very much the same way. So there's so much tact in there. And so you have some matches where they end up being a whole lot of defense, where there's just nothing but blocks going on. But you also get stuff where instead of blocking, you have both players will do heavy breaks and counters, which makes like for just amazingly interesting fights because the health bars will go down very slowly because they're not taking full damage because of the counters. And it's so fluid. It's just a beautiful art to me. I just love watching it. I love playing them.
How much do you know about Call of Duty competitively, real quick? Because I don't know a lot about it, but I found out a lot about CSGO competitions, and there's way more strategy in that game than I ever realized in the competitive scene. Like, as far as like
There's a decent amount of strategy involved in Call of Duty as well. It's just there's less that you don't have to worry about. Like, you don't have to watch your opponent's like games, basically. You don't have to sit there and watch how they play.
Well, CSGO you do. That's why I'm wondering if with Call of Duty they might. I mean, I didn't know this about CSGO because there's certain strats with CSGO I wasn't aware of. There was actually things. There's certain positions you play. Some people are actually flashers, and they focus pretty much entirely on putting flashes before a group enters an area. And based on where your enemy is at, you can kind of guess what strategy they're using because of having watched their film. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into that game than I ever realized.
Let me change my.
I'm not trying to call you wrong. I'm just saying, like, I didn't realize that.
No, I'm going to concede to this because, like, you're right. Like, I will change what I was saying to I've never heard of them doing this. I know with the other stuff, they'll talk about it, and I've never heard it within the Call of Duty like professionals. I could be wrong, but anyway, back to Evo because that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And shameless plug. Polycade is there, so if anybody's at Evo right now, who might be watching this, probably not, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like,
Hi,
because, yeah, if you're at Evo,
Well,
Polycade
that's
is
weird.
so you guys can check out Polycade. Dab just won Mortal Kombat, so he's moving forward. It was who was it? It was Justin Wong versus Daigo. Justin Wong eliminated him in the elimination match, so he's not moving forward. Justin Wong is like there's a lot of classic people. Gamer B played. I think actually lost. Like there's a lot of people who've been playing for years that are at this tournament, and it's fantastic to watch these like matches.
It's fun. It really is. I could sit and probably watch Marvel versus Capcom and Smash Brothers are ones that I always tune in for. So I'll probably have to watch more tomorrow. I don't think I'll be at the park as much.
I will be at
Maybe.
the park like crazy.
I say that until tomorrow hits, and I'm like, well, fuck sleeping.
The Pokemon, they called me. Anything else you guys want to talk about on Evo? Because I think that's a good transition there.
It works for me. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go's finally out. My nerdgasms are so strong.
It is?
It is. I was so fucking excited when it first got announced. Having it actually come out, I will have to be honest, I was mildly disappointed because I thought there was going to be more to it. I know they're looking to add more, and this is kind of a beta, not an official beta, but kind of a beta, because they're looking to add stuff later on. They're wanting to add actual trading. I've seen some stuff about they might be adding battles. Nothing like reliable, so I don't know if it is, but if they don't add proper battles where you actually do like at least something closer to the original games versus now where it's you slam the screen as fast as you can, I'm going to be a little disappointed because that's kind of what it is right now, is just who can tap the fastest, basically, and take over a gym. It's the gyms in my area, for example, there's one gym that's been Team Valor, by the way, has been Team Valor consistently for the last, 4 days, I think, has not changed once, because I monitor that. And there's 3 other gyms that have changed hands for all the other teams 4 or 5 times a day. When I wake up, it's one gym. I'm checking a couple hours later, it's somebody else. It changes very, very frequently. And that's because, again, there's not a whole lot of strategy right now to the battling. You can dodge a little bit, but mostly it's just slamming the fucking screen as fast as you can and hopefully knocking out the opponent's Pokemon. And then even with the power, it's not super relevant, I don't think. And so I'm hoping they really add in some of the rock, paper, scissors mechanics you had with the original games, or coming with a better battle system of some kind. Because the one they have right now, just in my opinion, isn't super great. It's a good placeholder, but I don't think it'll have longevity in the game. That being said, I'll come back to me because I've talked enough. Fred, you had a limited experience. I think we'll go to Snappy because he's probably got a huge adventure he wants to talk about and all the people he met. So, Fred, what has your experience been like?
Huge adventure.
My experience, so far it's been like you said, pretty limited. I think I'm level 7, so I'm not very far. I don't have a whole lot of Pokemon. I haven't even competed in a gym or anything. I haven't met any real life people. I've watched real life people walk around. You can't go anywhere in this town without seeing people walk around. There's been accidents here because of Pokemon Go.
Same here.
But I haven't had a whole lot with it, which is not really what I would like to. I would like to have more experience. My phone's just on the fritz. Snappy, let's hear your adventure.
My adventure? So I got the game on Monday, and I'm a week behind all the other trainers. So I have spent my week. I also had the week off. I should mention this. I'm at level 20 now. I've had the game for 6 days.
Fucking A.
And yeah, let's say I've invested a little bit of time into it.
Wee bit.
I'm loving it. I mean, I agree with what Barney said. Definitely, they definitely need to work on the combat system because, I mean, if you have close CP to something and you have something that can beat it by type, those are really the only 2 things that matter: are your CP and your type. Because you can take something. I had a Jolteon that was probably 300 or 400 CP less than a Vaporeon, and I just fucking wrecked the Vaporeon within seconds because the type was all that really mattered when you're that close. You don't need. It's not even really that close, but it beat it. But yeah, the combat system is definitely something I'd like to see improved. As far as like trading and battling, I hope if they do something with trading, and this is gonna sound weird, but I hope Barney probably knows what this is more than Fred. Do you know what the lure modules are that they put on the Pokestops?
Yeah.
I hope they do something like that for trading, but maybe call it like a trading module, and they can install that on the Pokestops. Because I feel like that would help with the game's sort of community aspect of having to go out and do things. And then once the module is installed, that you can trade all the Pokemon you want at that stop for like 30 minutes or whatever. I think that would be a great way to sort of stick with what they have going and get people out to the Pokestops and get them socializing. That's just my opinion.
Let me counter that really quick. Instead of a lure system, because most people I think are going to end up buying that, and it's going to limit some people that can't. Obviously, they don't always drop. I actually have only gotten, I think, one lure, and it was from a random egg opening, I think. I've actually bought 2 lures because I wanted to have lures available, because I just didn't have time. I don't have time to go to every Pokestop. I don't get to walk around. I get to go to the parks on my days off with the kids, so I get to play some then, and I mostly have to catch Pokemon through either having essences or whatever, the things that attract them to you, or as I'm randomly checking my phone every 5 minutes, I see a Pokemon nearby, which most of the time is absolute shit. So I've gotten lucky because of the lures, but I feel like what they could do is just have it to where you can only trade at Pokestops. You know what I mean? Where you have to be at a Pokestop to be able to trade, and have it set up like even like a market system where you put it up there and say, this is what I'm looking for between this CP and this CP, and someone say, okay, I want that. They drop it off, you get an alert, you have to go back to the Pokestop to pick it up. And maybe the person's still there, maybe you strike up a conversation. I mean, that would encourage it, but wouldn't require the kind of money sink or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I can counter, and bridge your guys' 2 ideas, because, you bring up a good point with the lure, but the lure is one of those premium kind of items, just in its kind of existence alone. Like, it's like, hey, Pokemon spawn randomly on their own, but with this, they spawn even more, so you don't have to spend all day on this thing. It's a premium item. Like, let's be real. So, like, it makes sense that it's a pay for. But with trading, I feel like they can make it more like the Pokeballs, which you don't really ever have to spend money on. You get them whenever you go to a Pokestop. You just spin the little thing, and bam, you got your
pop
Pokemon.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you can do the same thing with the trading token. Just be like, every time you go to a stop, you can get one. Because you have people who might want to sit at home and play with their friends or be at a party and don't want to go to a Pokestop or want to trade right then and there. Mm-hmm. Or it might not be convenient. Like kids, maybe the Pokestop is all the way at the end of the street, and the parents won't let them go there. So it's like one of those, they don't get the chance. So I feel like in order to keep the spirit of the game while still managing to keep access to a wide amount of people, I would say to make it more like Snappy said with the lure system, but make it so it is a common drop.
Yeah,
but then they still have to go to the Pokestop, so the kids that can't go there can't go there.
You can set a lure on yourself.
But how wide of an area though?
Okay, so make it less like a lure, more like the little.
Oh, that's the instant. Right?
Yeah, but the problem with that is then you start attracting. You start attracting people to your house at that point. Then that could make for some awkward confrontations. You know what I mean?
No, I'm saying like you should just have a trading. You should have like a trading token or something.
Yeah, so that lets you trade one. So you have to be within range of the person, but you can only trade if you have a trading token, which initiates a trade.
Yeah.
A link table item.
Yeah, there we go.
That's basically what I'm saying.
I could be down with that.
And then when you're at a Pokestop, it makes have it just be like a massive link. Like you can trade with anybody who's there.
Anybody at any Pokestop within like a few mile radius or something. So maybe all the Pokestops in your town are interlinked, and you need this Poke thing to connect to it and set up a trade, and then you can come pick it up later, whenever the trade goes through. That still gets, because you want to do as much as you can to still encourage people to get out.
An auction house. Pokestops could have an auction house.
Yeah, and they're all interconnected in your town.
Just trade directly with the friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that you still want to get people outside, and you don't want to encourage trading between, like, major cities and stuff, because that's one thing I don't like about it, is that the bigger your city you're in, the higher level Pokemon you're going to find. Yeah. And apparently, and the theory is from a friend, so here's a tip for all you trainers out there. Apparently, the more cell phone activity on a local tower when it's, coordinating the GPS,
the more Pokemon will spawn. So my friend would go to a cell store that's nearby, a big corporate store with shit tons of phones inside that are actually connected to the Verizon network, by the way. And he took a screenshot of me. There was like 6 Pokemon just sitting right there. No lure, no nothing, not even nothing. It's just a shit ton of Pokemon. Yeah. So that's why if you're in a major city, there's a greater chance. That's why we see all these fucking mass groups of people running after stuff in cities, because they get the higher level drops. It's to me, it's kind of unfair. It should be either 100% random, or the algorithm should account for town size and spawn things accordingly. You know what I mean? Not spawn more because there's more people. Yeah. But tomorrow,
that's definitely true.
I plan to go to my local fucking core store for Verizon that I know has a shit ton of phones inside of it and see if there's a bunch of fucking Pokemon there. And I'm betting there's gonna be. Because I went to a store nearby here that's just a shitty little retail place. It only has 20 phones maybe inside, and there was a couple Pokemon sitting there. Actually, I think it was just one, but random Pokemon just sitting there for no apparent reason. So might be coincidence, but I like to think it's because it's the fucking store causing it. And so I'm hoping I'm gonna hit fucking gold mine when I go to that store.
I will say that whenever you go to spots that have a lot of people, you do seem to find a lot more Pokemon.
Yeah. Someone in a small town, that's definitely true.
But that does encourage you to go to places.
It does.
It does, but it hurts because if you live in a major city, it's an unfair advantage. So I could go to Indy, which I'm obviously going to in a couple weeks for the Broversary. Yay. And I'm going to be catching the fuck out of me some Pokemon.
I mean, I don't look at it as an unfair advantage. I
wouldn't mind if it was more Pokemon and equal levels, but it's more Pokemon and much higher levels. Fairly frequently.
I saw an article where somebody was complaining about PokemonGO and said that it was they didn't use the word discrimination, but they pretty much did everything they could to describe the word discrimination in this entire
without
article.
saying it. Yeah.
It was I'm not gonna point any fingers, but we know it was you kind of attitude. It said that PokemonGO discriminated against disabled people. And that people in wheelchairs can't get to some of the Pokestops or the gyms, and they have mobility problems, and they have all this other stuff. And I was like, this is not discriminating against you any more than sidewalks are.
Yeah.
It's not a problem with the game. And I feel the same way about, the whole people in small towns can't blah, blah, blah. People in small towns get screwed on internet speeds. People in small towns get screwed on gas prices a lot of times. There's all these different things, and it comes with the territory. It's not the game company's fault that you're not within their algorithmic area.
No, but I feel like it's something that could be addressed. Because there is a way to get around if you're in a wheelchair. They have a thing where you can spoof your location and move yourself around. So there is a way to get around it if you're at least slightly technology savvy and you're willing to look for it. If you're not willing to look for it and you just want to fucking be a keyboard warrior, you're not going to find it. Though I do feel bad. But I think the whole algorithm could be slightly modified to where, because for example, the highest level Pokemon I've seen in the area are mostly around 400, 500. My friend shows me gyms in his area and they're 1,500.
There's a caveat here though, because the thing with games is that games, while they're a product, they're also art. They're also a creative outlet for the people who made them. So they have these ideas, and I'm sure they want feedback and they want to make it so more people can enjoy it and so on. But I don't feel like people are in a position to dictate and say, hey, you need to do this because you did it wrong, or you need to do this and you can do this better. Because it's at the end of the day, that's you telling them here's some more workload for you to do, when they might have completely different ideas on what they want to do with the game that I feel would be more apt to do. Because if you get too stuck with trying to fix and add in what your fans want, you're missing out on the creative things that the people with the creative mindsets making games, they're gonna have more ideas than what the normal person does, just because they're, you know what I mean? They're the creative.
Yeah, but that doesn't translate to being a good idea. That just translates to being their idea. And the same for the fans and stuff. It doesn't translate to being a good idea. But what I'm saying is, if you've got a massive amount of people saying, I want this, at least take it into account. You know what I mean? That's the point of feedback. Is if you've got 100 people saying this sucks, and you've got one person saying it's great, it probably sucks. And that one person just happens to have, a good shot at it.
I know, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying more of this is good, but it should have this. Even if everybody says it should have that, there's a good portion of the time people don't know what they want.
I will agree with that.
People will know what they don't like, but people don't know what they want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why when somebody makes something and it gets this big, I feel like, hey, they did something great. Let them go and let them keep having their ideas because they're on a
I
roll.
agree, but will you concede the fact that at least the game could be improved if they were to at least? I'm not saying take away from cities. I'm saying add to smaller areas, giving them a little bit of boost, modify the algorithm to give them a chance.
I think you could almost do both to some degree. Like maybe bring it down so cities might not spawn quite as much as they're spawning right
Well, I mean,
now.
again, it's not the amount; it's the quality that I find issue with. And they're getting the quality because there's more being spawned. It's all RNG. So if you have 100 things spawning versus one, your chance of having that really high level Pokemon is far increased.
Like maybe make that like, let's say it's like 60 player. Like let's say you get whatever it is now. Let's say it's like 30 players in an area, and they start spawning rarer Pokemon, not necessarily rare Pokemon. But maybe drop that cap down from like 30 to like 15 so that it's more manageable for people in a small town or something.
I feel like the Pokemon spawn should be based off of an average of players in the area's level. Their CP, I mean. And I feel like amount
CP
spawn,
technically is
the Pokemon level,
but
the player
rarity
level.
Isn't.
You know, well, that's what I'm saying. Like in general, I think that should still be random. But I think amount spawned. Like, if there's more people, I feel like more Pokemon should spawn. Even if you're in a small town, like, that just sounds like something that makes sense. You have more people, you need more Pokemon. And so I'm okay with that. But as far as the level of the rarity thing, I can definitely concede with you on that. Like, I feel that should be more random. Like, I don't care if a Moltres or something wants to spawn out in the middle of a field, the middle of nowhere. I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, but if all the players around are like lower levels, I feel like they should be lower CP, just based off the average.
I can agree. I can agree with that because you get, no matter what level it is, I think you still get a certain amount of XP based on, you know, if you've already caught one before. Like I've caught like a level 40, for example, Rattata, and I've caught a level 200 and something Rattata. No matter what, I only get 100 XP. So the XP you gain from those is irrelevant. The higher level, you should find higher level Pokemon. Like what they could do, for example, like I don't know the algorithm at all, so I'm just going to throw some random numbers out there and seem fucking awesome. Let's say that for right now, if it's for every 10 people, or no, every 10 Pokemon that spawns, you get one high level or one rare, something like that. In a small town, that might work. In a big town, that means you've got 100 Pokemon spawning, and 10 rares and 10 high levels. They could just modify it to where if there's X amount of people, it only spawns, it spawns a lesser amount of the rare. I mean, that just to kind of try to level the playing field a little bit. Because there's literally people that are coming here from Indy that I heard about that are taking over gyms, and their Pokemon are just so fucking overpowered they can't be taken back. And that person can never come collect from that gym, because you have to go back to the gym to collect, by the way, but it's taking like a mass group effort to fucking take these gyms back. It's a pain in the ass. And that's the problem I have, is that it allows for these people to have a stronger control over things, and it's not as balanced. And it's like a MOBA, when you have a really, really overpowered character, you have to balance it a little bit, you know what I mean, in order to make it fair and even, otherwise everyone's going to play that character.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked enough about Pokemon Go. Like, let's talk about this.
Oh, wait, hold on. Favorite Pokemon and highest level Pokemon. Just because we haven't talked about that.
I don't even know what my highest level Pokemon is.
What's your favorite, though? What's your favorite, though?
My favorite Pokemon? Man, I like Wobbuffet. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Who?
Just, like, because of the fucking cartoon. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Wobbuffet's the fucking best.
Just I was talking about the original 150?
Like...
the original 150? What's your favorite?
Oh, he's not the original 150.
No. What's in Pokemon Go? Yeah.
Oh, of the ones in Pokemon Go. I don't think he's in there yet. Of the original 150?
Technically, I think there's 152
Two
in Go right now. Because Aerodactyl's in there, so it has to be at least 152. I don't know if Mew's in there. I didn't look at that whole... They pulled the thing and took the models out for the legendaries.
I have a 150.
I don't know if I do either, so it's okay, Fred.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
Do you?
Yes, I do. It's Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur.
My adorable
Really?
little Bulbasaur.
What's the second evolution for him?
Ivysaur?
I almost caught it at level 250
I'm gonna have
Ivysaur.
Squirtle. Squirtle's
Nice.
probably my favorite just because of the episode with the cool squirtles and the glasses.
Oh yeah.
and because remember the one
Squirtle
where
Squad?
like
Yeah,
the
Squirtle
Pokemon
Squad.
got lost in the they were all lost in the woods, and like the Squirtle just had this awesome attitude. He was like, "Fuck the humans, they left
Yeah,
us here.
yeah.
We can do this shit on our own." Like Bulbasaur was all sad, and Pikachu's like, "They're coming back," and then fucking Squirtle's like, "I don't give a fuck."
Nah,
I
fam.
got
My favorite is Scyther. No matter out of any of the Pokemon ever, always Scyther.
Yeah.
He's got those.
Yeah, he's got swords, bruh.
Yeah, he's got sword arms. He's like Edward's sister Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's true.
Edward Scyther hands.
Edward Scyther hands. Make it happen, Tim Burton.
Yeah. But next topic, that I just wanted to find out real quick what our favorite were.
I would like to discuss this amazing game I heard about called Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, currently on Steam Greenlight.
Is it totally accurate?
Yeah, it's totally accurate to my amusement.
Okay. That wasn't the question, but thank you for answering.
It's like a sandbox kind of like strategy game.
You're fading really bad, Fred.
You just kind of like,
Can't hear you.
Sounds so far away.
oh my bad.
It's freaking me out.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So totally accurate. Let me try that again. Totally accurate battle simulator. Basically, it's a simulation game. You put your characters up in like a sandbox kind of area, and they fight, and they just ragdoll physics all over the place. And it just looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I plan on grabbing the early access release. I guess they have a free version. I don't know if you have to apply for it or not. I'm gonna do more searching on it and check it out. Like I'll probably end up tweeting about it when I do play. So if you follow me on Twitter @FogwarTheClown, like check it out. Follow me, or don't because
Follow him.
tweets.
Follow him.
But
I would
yeah,
have to
I think
mute
it
this
looks
game if
fun.
I played it. Just watching this video, the sound effects are driving me nuts.
Audio off.
I don't know. It just looks fun. It just looks outrageously fun. Besides that, been playing Rocket League.
Good
And I know
game.
we touched on that at the beginning of the show, but I would like to touch on that again. Like,
Would you really?
Yeah,
Double
I would,
dipping?
just
You
because,
got into Rocket League?
yeah, let's get back into Rocket League. Just because, like, I feel like Rocket League just needs to stay hype. It's one of those games that the hype train doesn't need to slow down. Like, let's make that hype train year round. Like, this isn't a vacation trip. This is a fucking lifestyle.
I feel like it probably won't. It's kind of got its niche market thing, and it's got a big enough competitive scene now. If you don't feel like Rocket League probably will slow down.
I hope it doesn't. It's so fun. Like, it's one of those games that even when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about playing it. Like, it is that good. I wish I was better at it. That's one of the reasons I don't play as much, because I get mad at myself because other people play.
Why do you
I
suck
literally
so
do
bad?
well. Yeah, I have to go sit myself.
Ron Lames.
I don't know of any other games that are out right now or coming out because
Don't know
of
of any
this.
games that are coming out. None.
Well,
I
Legion
know there are
drops too
some, I'm
soon.
sure. Oh, Video Ball. Hold on. Video Ball. It is the future. It is the game.
Oh.
Video Ball.
Video Ball. I played this a couple of years ago at PAX East 2013. It finally
that.
came out earlier this month. It's been in early access and whatever for a while, and I'm gonna pick it up like ASAP. It's $9.99. What's the release date on this? July 12th. So it literally came out a few days ago. This game is basically imagine Pong and asteroids had an amazing baby, and that baby was named Video Ball, and it took over the world. That's what this game is.
Well, that sounds terrifying.
It's on Steam right now, $9.99, indie game, but totally worth it. It's just, an amazing, amazing game. Like I said, I played it back in 2013. It's finally out in 2016, and it's everything it promised, and probably more.
All right.
So, did we talk about Evolution yet? Did we say that at the
No,
beginning of the show?
We did. We haven't talked about it yet.
Whatever the show is.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we mixed it.
Go ahead, Snappy. Talk about Evolution.
Oh, wow. I guess I'll just take that.
Yeah.
So, Evolution just became free on Steam, and I think it's pretty damn fascinating that this game that I didn't hear a lot of really... I know some people that like it, but I didn't hear a lot of really great opinions about it when it came out. I heard a lot of actual shit talking about the game when it came out for a lot of different reasons, and a lot of people that didn't like it for a lot of reasons. And now it's suddenly free, and all of a sudden it is like one of the top games on Steam. It's just like ridiculous how much just that going free. And I mean, it wasn't even that expensive before it went free. It was like down to like $10-$20.
Well, real quick, I mean, one thing, it's possible that most of the people that are playing it right now didn't have the money because they're kids or didn't want to pay for it, and that's why it spiked. I mean, like, if I remember, I read an article about it, like, the average player count was only like a few hundred. I want to say like 2 or 3, but it could have been like 7. I honestly don't remember. It was definitely extremely low, like how many people were actually playing the game. And that was like the day before it went free to play. Once it went free to play, it jumped by like, I think like 1,600%. It was fucking just massive. And people are playing like crazy, but again, I think it's partially because the people that are playing aren't ones that originally bought it. It's ones that didn't buy it before that are able to get it for free now, so they're going to try it out.
This just still seems insane to me for a game that had such bad word of mouth when it first came out for a lot of reasons.
It looks cool.
It's just crazy. Like, if I don't know what's something that's had really bad word of mouth. Let's say the Ghostbusters movie. Like, in 6 months, if the Ghostbusters movie was like free on VHS, I'm not gonna go to Walmart and pick up the VHS copy just because it's free. You know, I find it insane for that. Like, if like some game that I really, really hated and hadn't heard anything good about went free, I don't know if I would go pick it up tomorrow just because it's free and try it. Like, there's a lot of games like that on Xbox Live Gold that I don't pick up, that I'm like, I've heard bad things. I'm not gonna waste my time.
Like Fable.
I want to counter on this. I played Evolve right before it came out at PAX, and I also played it not too long after it came out on the Xbox. It's made by Turtle Rock, which are the same people who did Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. And it has a very similar feel, like you can tell it's the same people. And it was a very, very fun game. I'm not going to lie. Most of the complaints against it were more about longevity in the game. There wasn't a whole lot to keep you going once you got to a certain point. Basically the same complaints against Titanfall. Fun, but what's to keep me here? And that's pretty much what it came down to. And then after it all dwindled out, they went free-to-play. And I personally think moving to free-to-play is a great move, especially for a game like this that really was pretty well done. Like, I really think it's fun. It's just kind of a niche title. But where they screwed up with the free-to-play is they took out a lot of the things that the pay-to-play version had. People who had the pay-to-play version no longer have the pay-to-play version. It's the free-to-play. Like, they completely redid the game, including the purchased copies. Like, the free-to-play was an update to the game. So rather than it being a here we go, here's a free-to-play version. People who have the pay have all the stuff they did have before. So there's people who lost their skins, the skins that aren't available anymore. They have like a lot of this stuff converted into the free-to-play currency they have. Like, and it was a low amount too. It's only 50,000, which is super low. I think you start with like 10 or 20,000 as like a normal member. And so it's ridiculous what they did with the people who were the initial buyers and even the founders and stuff. Like, they just really dicked them over. And that's my only issue with the Evolve. Like, personally, since I didn't already have the game, I think it's great. It's fun. I've played it a couple of times. I really enjoy being the monster. However, I need to get it more down pat because I keep dying. But it is fun. But it is definitely a heavy team-based game.
I've heard bad things, but I've also heard good things. It's just very mixed. I just find it fascinating that the game spiked the way it did. I mean, I would have expected a little spike, but I mean, it went right to the freaking top of the charts. It just amazes me.
Yeah, from what I can see, when they went free to play, they screwed over the founders pretty fucking hard. Like, all their progress was reset. They lost a lot of their elite stuff. Like, that's kind of a dick move.
It's interesting because I've been kind of hoping since Battleborn came out that I think that would be an appropriate, not screwing over the founders because I would be pissed because I'm a founder, but I think that would be the right move for Battleborn at this point because I think it's kind of falling into that niche zone where I really think they need a free to play model to get people into that game of like almost like the League of Legends thing where they have like the entire game is free, but then they only give you like 2 or 3 heroes at a time to get people back on that game. And so it's interesting seeing another game do this, at least for me.
They have to. I mean, how are they going to compete with Overwatch, which is fucking killing it, and no one talks about Battleborn, and when they do, it's with like a side of mirth.
Battleborn's actually been spiking quite a bit the last couple weeks. They've had a couple sales on Steam and Xbox, and the community's actually been. It's probably not definitely Overwatch, but I mean it's definitely, as someone who plays it on a very regular basis, it was very, very strong, and then Overwatch hit, and it was very, very dead for about 3 weeks. And probably the last 2 weeks since that sale, at least on the Xbox anyway, and from what I've read, it hasn't really affected PC that much, but Xbox and PlayStation, I guess, have been spiking pretty decent.
How much of that is, though, like people getting burnt out on Overwatch and the competitive play pissing off people that are just frankly not supposed to be there? Like, that's one thing that annoyed me about Overwatch is when they released the competitive play, they made the minimum level to get in 25, and I think it should be much higher because, like, people are getting a decent grasp of the game, but not 100%, and they're still making massive rookie mistakes. And people that really just aren't, frankly, just aren't talented enough to be there. I mean, all due respect to people, not everyone's good at everything, but you're not good enough to be there, are able to be there because they lost their way to level 25, because no matter what, you get some experience. And they're there, and it's dragging down others that could be like me and my friend when we play. More often than not, we've got to carry our team. Like, we've got to really make up for massive holes. We've got to take out 2 or 3 people by ourselves versus only 1 or 2 here and there. You know what I mean? And it's so fucking infuriating because people are like not doing the objectives. They're ignoring it. They care more about their kill to death ratio, and that's not the kind of game where that matters. It's completely fucking irrelevant. Having a good KD ratio helps. It's good, but it's more about the self-sacrifice to fucking win. Like, I mean, I don't know how many times where I play Reinhardt and I'll boost to grab somebody ulting and I die because of it, or I boost to grab Diva's ulti to die with it, or I boost into an area where I know I'm going to die, but it gets us that 2 or 3 crucial seconds to make sure we have enough time to come back in and take the point. I mean, it's that mindset you have to have in this game to be successful. And I don't know how I got on this fucking tangent, but I'm really fucking tired, and I apologize.
No, it's a good tangent.
Yeah, it was good. It was informative.
I agree, because Battleborn's dealing with a lot of the same issues right now, because they, probably 2 weeks ago, they put in place an entirely new matchmaking system. They scrapped the old one, they redid all the playlists, and they brought in a new skill-based matchmaking system. And it was brilliant, and they left it in there for about a week. And now they have taken it out and put back in the old system, because the problem with the new system was, because there's so many game types and there's not a lot of maps, but by the time the way the newer system worked was it basically eliminated all the voting options and narrowed it down to the most competitively friendly maps, so the maps that are built best for the competitive modes, and the competitive modes themselves that are built best for competitive modes. So they had a bunch of people in the community that liked the lesser modes, like the domination capture style mode, that were complaining, and so they got tired of it and they decided to put stuff back in. And that week was so blissful, though, because exactly what you're describing, though, they had. Now I'm back to playing with. I played the other day. I loaded it up and I played 2 matches. I'm a level 88, and I was getting stuck on teams of. You have a 5-player team, and I was getting 5-player teams where everybody else was under level 10 with me, and then the other
What the
team was like
fuck?
all level like 80s and 90s, and I'm like, how is this fair? These people are
Yeah.
not going to be able to compete against those people.
Yeah. What the fuck?
It's sad, but
One game I haven't.
it's
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's just crazy. Go.
That's bullshit.
I don't know what else.
One game you guys probably can't comment on. Fred, you might have heard about this. I don't know. Snappy, I'm guessing probably not. I might have keys actually to get you guys invited. I'll have to check. Fortnite has been under development for a long while, still under NDA.
Fine, right?
I don't. It's Epic. I don't know why it's still fucking under NDA. It should be lifted by now. It's polished enough to where they're not going to embarrass themselves. It was polished enough when I played it before, to be honest with you. They still need to work on PvP, and they've talked about not including PvP, which if they do it's gonna hurt the game. I'm sorry. You have to have PvP in a game like that, where if it's capable of it and you don't do it, you're gonna alienate a vast fucking player base, and your game's gonna die because you don't have a player base. You have to have that mode. So if they can get that figured out, which it really shouldn't be hard, it's going to be a really, really fun game. Right now, even the PvE is pretty fun, just playing with your friends. I don't know if I have invites. Let me check really quick, but it's something you guys should check out. And I'm Snappy. What's your build?
It's my what?
Your computer build.
My
your rig.
Good enough to play it. I can guarantee you that.
Okay. I figured it was, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Sure, I have probably got a couple. I mean, I haven't sent out any invites in a while.
Well, that'd be exciting because I remember when they announced that game.
Yeah, I got invited into it like over a year ago, and I've been giving out the invites to friends and stuff as I go.
It got announced in like 2014, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like right after they finished Gears.
It was in Game Informer.
They announced it.
Yeah. Wow. That was like 2012, 2013?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
I have 4 invites, so you guys are getting ones.
That would have been... yeah, that would have been a while ago.
Yeah, so I need you guys' emails here in a little bit, but I'll invite you guys both. It's fun. It's really fun. It gets kind of old, especially because they wipe kind of frequently when they get new updates and stuff. But if they were to put the PvP in there, it would add an extra bit of flavor that would really, really help. But again, still under NDA. Like, I don't get that at all. Which they kind of did the same thing with Paragon.
Has it changed that much from the original concept? Is it still just kind of like
it's
Minecraft with zombies, kind of? That's the best way I could probably describe it. You take stuff, you craft a fort, and then at night the zombies come and you defend the fort.
That's more like 7 days, to be honest with you. It's hard to explain. It's got building mechanics to it, but they're not that in depth. It's something you have to play. It's really fun, though. I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm not going to try to take anything away from it other than if they don't put the PvP in there, it's going to hurt the game long term. It really is. You've got to have that aspect of it. But it's still a very fun game to play. I still cannot understand why it's under NDA. When I started playing it, I was like, the NDA is going to be lifting soon, like a few months. This is a very polished game. It's really well put together. But I think they did the same thing with Paragon. Like, it didn't come out of NDA for the longest time. But I don't remember. It's also, I don't know if it's using the true Unreal Engine. I'm not sure. It might be, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's crazy, because I think Paragon, I mean, even though Paragon's out of NDA, right?
Oh, yeah, well out of it.
With all the betas they're doing it.
I think it's officially released now.
They announced, like I said, they announced Fortnite like years and years ago, and Paragon just got announced like last year or something.
I might even have the magazine later around somewhere, but I have the magazine where Fortnite was announced. That's how I found out about it in Game Informer, and it was a big chunk of time ago, at least 2 or 3 years, and it's still under NDA. I mean, when they showed it, it was good enough to be, I mean, beta testing almost. Now it's beta testing, but it's like I don't know why it's under NDA.
That's crazy. I was actually playing Lawbreakers last weekend in the alpha.
Ron Burgundy?
I'm Ron Burgundy?
That was actually really interesting. It's kind of like a mix between if you took Overwatch and it had sex with Quake. That's essentially what Lawbreakers would be. And I don't believe they're even doing an NDA for the alpha.
I hate when companies do that. Like, it's cool, but at the same time, it really can hurt a game. Like, look at Gigantic, which I was a proof streamer for. Like, they lifted their NDA way too early, and they're like scrambling to pick up the pieces right now. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make it through, to be 100% honest. They've had to lay off like 2 waves of people. I mean, it's barely limping along. It was really big, like, for a small piece of time, because they have a really great concept. It's just they've got, like, I think maybe 2 maps right now, and they've added I think a couple of heroes, but they've also removed a couple. So they haven't really been, as far as I can tell, making a whole lot of progress. I mean, when you launch a game or when you go into out of NDA, you, in my opinion, should have at least 4 or 5 maps and a decent fucking catalog of characters. And they've only got like 5 or 6 that you really want to play. The other ones are not really touched because they're so utility based. It's hurting bad, and it was a fun game, but I don't think it's gonna make it. I want it to.
I kind of agree with that. Once you come out of NDA, you should basically be going into the point where you're starting to hype the game for sales purposes.
And beta, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, Lawbreakers is still an alpha. I mean, it looks gorgeous. I mean, I could play it on, I think, high, but I couldn't play it on whatever the extreme crazy difficulty was, and it's Unreal 3, so it looks super fucking nice, but...
I mean, the whole purpose of NDA is to keep people from overly talking about the content of the game. Yeah, it's to cut down on chatter, particularly press chatter. You know, like, that's... Yeah. Chatter in general, like, to keep you from talking too much about it, what's going on, what's on the inside. Like, that way you can tweak the stuff, you can hear about it, you can have, like, some internal fixes before somebody says something like, oh, this game is completely broken, because that's going to be...
One bad impression can kill your game. I mean, that's all it takes. Yeah. One bad word of mouth, and it's over with. GG.
Yeah, all it takes is one bad thing, even if it's a preview on a website. All it takes is somebody Googling it and finding it, and that's it. One bad headline, one bad tweet, you know, like, that's it.
True. You also don't want to, like, burn out too early where you have this great press about how great your game is, and then not ever release it.
Like Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Yeah, only, you know, the game... I mean more along the lines of, like, your game actually is great, but you release NDA too soon. Everybody talks about how great it is, and then when it finally comes out, everybody's just tired of playing the beta, tired of seeing the beta, and it's just like, I get enough of it in beta. I don't need to buy it. I'm done. I moved on.
The demo, the early version was great. The final version was terrible.
Like, Crowfall, I think, is doing a great job. We talked about this before. Like, they're doing, like, they don't have an NDA right now. You can stream it when the servers are up, but they're only up for a couple hours at a time. And they're so early in their development, but they're taking their sweet time with it. And they've lost, I would have to say, quite a chunk of fucking hype. No one really talks about it. When it first got announced on fucking Kickstarter, it was pretty fucking popular, pretty big, and really expensive to buy into. But the more I think about it, that was a super savvy move on their point, because, you know, it's like Facebook early on. The more exclusive something is, the harder it is to get a hold of it and get into it and be a part of it. The more people want something, and the more that you push that hype engine, you know what I mean? So the way they're doing things is smart, because they've got enough money. They've got everything they need. They've got a whole lot of fucking landing space, or whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? And they're going to be fine, especially because the way they're doing it, they're putting forth the right amount of effort to still talk about it and show you what they're doing, but they're not shoving things out there too early. Like, they should have been into, like, an actual proper, like, 24/7 up server with, you know, basic mechanics, PvP, PvE, dungeon, all that kind of stuff. I think 2 or 3 months ago was the expected launch time for that. I don't see them making any progress towards that, but I haven't really checked that. I've just been reading emails they send me about it. But once they get closer to that, I'm going to start fucking playing it some more. Once it launches, I'm actually going to play. And I've still got to set up an interview with the developers, with me and Horse. But, I mean, it looks very promising. Very promising. But they're taking their time, right? You know, chunks here and there. Yes, there's no NDA, but you can't play it. So it's not like you can stream every, 24 hours a day. You can only do it every other weekend for a couple hours. And only like 100 people can even get in. I mean, they're really doing it. What I think might be the right way to do it is just smidges of information getting out. Only a small group of people getting to play. So only a few people can stream. When you limit it like that and you conserve how many people can even connect to your servers, you alleviate a decent amount of lag issues. Because if your game's lagging like crazy, it's fucking over with. that's going to kill your game. Any kind of issues, bugs popping up like that frequently is going to hurt you. And they're doing the right job of slowly leaking the information out. Like with No Man's Sky, how like it was all these rumors swirling around about it, and then when you finally find out what it's going to be, where like there's no multiplayer. The closest to multiplayer you get is kind of like how, remember on Fable you had those little balls that would fucking float around, you knew there were players? There's going to be like ghosts, sort of, that you see on planets that someone else has already visited and found of when that person was there, but you'll never actually interact with another player, not properly. And I think they didn't release that till the last minute, so people might still buy into it or not realize that, but as much of a dick move that kind of was, that was a savvy move. Don't tell them there's no multiplayer. Maybe hint at it. Maybe we'll do it. We don't know. I mean, there was I can't remember the name of it right now, that zombie game that came out. It was originally on Xbox, I believe, and then went to Steam. And it was that solo player zombie thing where it looked really great, really fun. And they said, we're going to release multiplayer later, and then just never did. And that's, for me, what ruined that game, is because that game is fun solo, but people, when they want to play solo games, want to play a Bethesda game that's so fucking immersive.
Well, I mean, Snappy doesn't, but
Well, whatever, Snappy.
No,
I mean,
we
fuck
play
Bethesda.
Bioware.
but I mean, it's so fucking immersive that you lose yourself in it.
simulator
You know what I mean? Yeah, but you lose yourself in it, right? And so you forget that there's no multiplayer aspect to it. But some games don't have that level of immersion, and then you start wanting to play with somebody, you know. And I'm again rambling. Sorry, I'm getting tired.
It's all good.
That was a good ramble. Good ramble.
The half an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Do we have anything else to talk about? Was that the end of their topics?
I think so. I mean, we kind of just bounced around from there.
Yeah.
It was good though. It was good bouncing. It wasn't like random. I mean, it was kind of random, but I mean, it was all constructive, random,
Yeah,
thought
it
out,
was.
random.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Use it was use.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was very
exactly.
US.
US. Best typo
We can decide
ever.
on the pronunciation later.
Yeah. But I'm
Decided by Merriam-Webster.
gonna get you guys invited. I really want to stress you guys to at least try it out. Maybe we can play together like tomorrow night or something like that.
I'm excited.
I got a guild meeting, and then I might be hanging out with somebody, but we're usually all up pretty late, I think. So get like maybe an hour or two. So I'll get you guys the key sent off, and you can get it downloaded and try it out if you want to. I can probably get Ant to join us, who's kind of an expert on it. I got him invited into it early, and he's played the fuck out of way more than I have. He loves PvE games, so I'll hit him up later about coming in to kind of help us along. Let's see.
Yay.
Well, I'll hit him up later. I don't know where the fuck he's at, but I'll message him later about that. So at least we'll have something to talk about, with Fortnite next week, on a limited basis, obviously. At least just our impressions. I think you at least can say that, right? As far as I'm aware, your impressions of a game. I don't know if you can actually show content. I'll get back to you about that too. But yeah, you guys will try it. And then Fred, you still need to play Rock, so we need to find time to do that.
We do, because I tried playing and it said something about no servers or something.
Oh yeah,
so.
no, it's I'll show you how to set that up. It's really simple.
So I think that's the end of the show for this week. For anybody who may be watching, it doesn't look like there is, but anybody who is watching, thanks for watching. Anybody who will be watching and has just finished watching this over on YouTube, feel free to leave comments down below. We'll get back to them and address them in the next episode, should you ever leave any, which you fucks never do.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Barney streams pretty regularly throughout the week.
Except for my work schedule. Like right now I'm working till midnight, and so it makes it hard to do anything. I've got some videos for 7 days I've got on the burner right now that I want to put out. I've already got like new concepts for the base design and some tips and tricks.
Nice.
And me and Snappy keep it pretty active on the Twitters with terribleness, really. Like, we're both terrible tweeters.
I'd call it general shenanigans, but it's terrible.
Yeah,
it is.
It's politics, and it's comedy, and it's bad comedy, and then it's worse comedy.
It's like you'll tweet about a politic thing, and then like the next tweet is a dick and fart joke, and then a pun, and then like a half a joke, half a political thing, and then back to dick and fart
Pokemon
jokes.
Go.
And then Pokemon Go, yeah, from Snappy, basically. Daily updates on. You should be live tweeting your fucking adventures. I'm just saying, like, there's a missed opportunity here for you.
I should be. I spent all day, like I wrote on Facebook, I spent all day. Literally, I was walking. My park has this circular track, and there's 4 Pokestops on it, one at like each end, and then 2 on the sides. So as I walk it, I can literally just flip them as I go by, and I'm just racking up Pokeballs constantly going in a circle. And there's a gym like partway around on the one side, and every time I'd pass it, I would just take it, but then I would just clean the Pokemon off, but then not take it, so it was just blank. And you would just see everyone swarm back. And you could tell the people that actually live near the park and the people that were like, because there were people that were at the park just hanging out that would come get it, but then there were people like, I would clean it off and it would sit there for like 10 minutes, and you'd see them drive up like 2 or 3 times during the day. Like they have to look close enough that they can see that I cleaned it off, and they just come running back.
This fucking guy! I will find you!
Some people just like to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
It was great. Like, I'm sure they were so frustrated. Like, why the fuck does he gotta clean it off? He doesn't even fucking want it. Why doesn't he lay down a Pokemon?
Yeah, right.
Where's he going?
Who are you? When I was at the park last week with my kid, or Thursday with my kids, the poker gym or whatever is below this fucking giant, like, I don't know what to call it, this like giant art structure. It's like huge. It's got, you know, like this and like this. I don't know what to call it. Like a dome, but not a dome. I don't fucking know. I'm not an artist. I'm not even going to claim to be, because I can't even do stick figures properly. They've only got one arm. What the fuck, Barney? Anyways, so there would be guys sitting at the benches up next to the park where I'm chilling out with my kids watching them play, and I would see the Poke Gym flip to a team, and somebody would come walking up. And one guy would kind of, you know, give this guy a shitty look, go walk down, take the gym for his team, walk back up. And then this guy and 2 other guys would walk down, take the gym, add a couple extra Pokemon, walk back up slowly, like the long way, trying to be like all nonchalant about it. Like, we don't know what the fuck you just did, but we just watched you walk down there and the Pokemon gym fucking change. This guy would sigh, get up, and like, you know, any mystics here? And they would all get up and walk down there. And I think this happened like 4 or 5 times. Finally, the guys that were walking down there, the mystic guys or whatever, stayed down there for a long fucking time. The other guys just kind of sat there and waited. And it was like a fucking standoff. Like, who's going to go home first? You know what I mean? Who's got responsibilities? Nice. Apparently none of them did, by the way, because they stayed there even after I left. They were there before I got there doing this fucking walk of shame. And they were there even after I left with the kids, which is usually about an hour and a half. Oh.
Nice.
Cat ass out of my face. We don't know how to end an episode, do we?
Apparently not.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it. So, thank you everybody for watching. Like Fred said, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll answer some questions next week. Any questions posted on my 7 days thing, I might answer on here. I don't know if I will, because usually I just answer them immediately, because I'm like that, because I'm fucking always on my phone. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Fred, Snappy, thank you. Did awesome. Not as good as me, but it's okay. Step up your game. Maybe you'll get this level. Get super tired. That's the secret.
Working on it.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty tired right now.
Yeah, like, I'm exhausted. I'm actually already asleep.
Oh, really?
I'm not gonna remember this tomorrow.
Holy shit!
Eyes open.
I was asleep.
That's impressive. But yeah, bye-bye!